Baldwin's on the line. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, guys.
So I told you I was going to start out with a stat that I like to pretend that I've prepared for this show whatsoever, just to give the illusion like I know what we're doing in here. But no, you wanted to talk gaming, and obviously Cody and I have been doing a lot of live reads for gaming. Here is a stat that I don't even know if you have, but New York State's 4 mobile sportsbook operators took in a total of how many dollars worth of bets do you think in their first weekend, Cody?
$50 million.
Wow.
They took in a total of $150 million in wagers in the first weekend of legalized betting.
Hell yeah.
A total of 650,000 unique accounts were set up. The state projects $249 million as revenue for this fiscal year. What do you think about that, Lee?
I had the under 140 million. So.
Yeah. But there's a lot of money to be made here now in the state of New York.
It's incredible that once they've released this onto the New York State population, but and I think there's a high tax rate that they're paying, right? Like that's.
The state's getting theirs. Yeah.
Right, so it makes me want to say we should be investing more in the tax-free New York State bonds because this is going to help the coffers of New York State. But it's pretty incredible that kickoff and very well timed right around the championship football game and the NFL playoffs, right?
Yeah. And what's interesting too about this, and I didn't prepare you for this, but just we have Jake from Cornell's Greenhouse in here on Tuesday, and he said that this legalization of gambling has kind of lit a fire under the cannabis world. And they're like, well, we want to get our taxes too. So they're kind of speeding that along now.
That's interesting. And that's, and we've seen a little bit of a green, so to speak, in the cannabis stocks to start the year. So a little bit of buying in there too. So, very interesting. It's, the gaming stocks heading into this year, were really, ended 2021 on their lows. So, so we're looking at those like DraftKings or Penn Gaming is one.
Do you think, Leigh Baldwin, that there's a lot of new gaming companies that pop up, or do the biggest ones thrive kind of in this?
Well, I think it's a race to be the first, right? So that's why all the deals that they're doing and the free plays and things like that. So it's because I got to believe once it's on your app on your phone, you probably are less apt to change it. So I think it's the big guys are going to do well that are there first,
Yeah,
so
first ones through the door, yeah.
Yep. So it's but a pretty big deal for New York State. So I think New York State's going to benefit. So
they're definitely going to benefit if they're expecting $256 million in revenue for this fiscal year. What were you talking about for morning?
But as a money guy, you have to, and I don't want to, sound like the old person in the room. But you have to be careful, though. They make it very easy, right? You stay away from the halftime bets, Josh. So
yeah, I like just a little bit of gambling. I don't go crazy. Like if I gamble, I'll do like those $20 bets. I'm not a big gambler, but but by the way, just a sidebar question: if you know anybody who's buying hemoglobin, Cody and I.
Just a little.
We got to sell off some white blood cells. I just got to get myself out of a couple jams, and then
plasma if anyone needs
plasma, anything like that. Leigh Baldwin,
bone marrow.
What were you talking about with Morning Brew? That's something you rely on?
No, it's just it's something that can get emailed to you. I think I've mentioned it on the show, but it's for those it gives you a quick email at like 5:30 in the morning every day, and it gives you a market quick recap, and then it'll have just interesting stories. So I think if you if you sign up for that, give it a try. But it's called the Morning Brew, and today they were talking about the other gaming stocks, which has got on the Wall Street news is Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard.
That's unbelievable, Leigh Baldwin. The gaming community went nuts yesterday because that can mean so many different things. That can mean that. Does Xbox then take exclusive rights to games like Call of Duty or Blizzard has the rights to the Warcraft and the StarCraft franchise? That's a big deal that went through.
Well, it's the biggest gaming deal, $70 billion as in big. And it's interesting. The second biggest deal in gaming was last week when Take-Two bought Zynga for $12.7 billion. So there's definitely a grab here. And if you think the the betting companies want to get into a space quickly, like we're seeing. It's also Microsoft, and these firms think that the gamers are your platform to get into Meta, whatever that eventually becomes. So that's got everyone talking on Wall Street. That was a pretty big deal yesterday.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, and the market was down, but we were all kind of talking about that. Like that's so. Keep your eye on the ball there, right? So
exactly right. Well, if you're like me and you can't read, Leigh Baldwin does all the work. He's reading the articles. He's getting the morning brew. He's handling all that. You pay a bill to yourself. $investmentclub.com. Sign up, and Leigh takes care of the rest. Leigh, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
You guys, thanks, guys.
Bye. Leigh Baldwin joining us as he does.